As Nneka's parents sat in the living room, they discussed her next step in education. Their daughter had been a top student in her primary school, excelling in every subject. When the opportunity came for her to attend one of the best all-girls schools in the country, they didn't hesitate. After all, it was the ideal choice. The school was prestigious, and the promise of academic excellence was undeniable. But what they didn't know was that the decision would soon lead them into a maze of unexpected challenges. The headmistress at the school had assured them that Nneka would thrive, but there was something unsettling about the way she spoke. Her words were calm and confident, but the hidden warning in her eyes didn't escape Nneka's mother. Still, the decision was made, and Nneka was excited about the new chapter of her life. She couldn't wait to meet new friends and explore what the school had to offer. Little did her parents know, the school held secrets that would slowly begin to unfold over time. Nneka's first day at the all-girls school was a blur of new faces and unfamiliar surroundings. The campus was large and intimidating, but Nneka tried to stay confident. Her parents dropped her off at the gate, smiling and waving as they drove away. Inside the school, however, things were not as perfect as they seemed. Nneka noticed how the older students whispered among themselves, casting curious glances at the new arrivals. The orientation was brief and felt more like a formality than a welcome. As Nneka sat in her first class, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The teachers were polite but distant, and no one seemed genuinely interested in getting to know the new students. Throughout the day, Nneka observed the way the girls interacted with one another, quietly, with an underlying tension. The school was not the harmonious place she had imagined. It felt like something was always just out of reach, a secret that no one was willing to share. A few weeks into the term, Nneka began to notice a pattern among the older girls. They were always in groups, speaking in hushed tones whenever a younger student passed by. At first, Nneka thought it was just typical teenage behavior, but as time passed, she realized it was more than that. There were whispers about secret meetings, hidden rooms, and unexplained disappearances. One day, while walking to class, Nneka overheard a conversation between two older girls. They were talking about a tradition that involved the new students. Curiosity piqued, Nneka tried to approach, but they quickly stopped talking and stared at her as if she didn't belong. The air of secrecy only grew stronger, and Nneka felt as though she had stepped into a world where she wasn't meant to be. A few weeks later, a student named Ifeoma went missing. The school declared it an unexpected leave of absence, but the rumors spread like wildfire. The girls in Nneka's class exchanged nervous glances, and some of the older students seemed to avoid the topic altogether. Nneka tried asking around, but no one would tell her anything concrete. It was as if the school was trying to cover up something. But what? Nneka's new friends began to behave strangely as well. Some of them grew distant. Others looked over their shoulders whenever they spoke. The tension in the air was palpable, and Nneka's curiosity only deepened. She wanted to find out what had really happened to Ifeoma, but she quickly realized that asking questions was dangerous. The more she pushed, the more she felt like an outsider. In the midst of all the secrecy, Nneka found an unlikely ally in Ngozi, a quiet girl who had been a loner since the beginning of term. Ngozi was different from the others. She didn't seem to care about the school's hidden politics or the unspoken rules. One afternoon, as Nneka was sitting alone in the library, Ngozi approached her. "I know you've been asking questions," Ngozi said softly. "It's not safe to do that here. You have to be careful." Nneka was taken aback. "What do you mean? What's going on here?" Ngozi hesitated before answering. "There's a reason the older girls act the way they do. There's something dark about this place, something no one talks about." Nneka's heart raced. She had to know more. Ngozi's warning only fueled her curiosity. As Nneka and Ngozi spent more time together, she learned that the school had a tradition known only to the older girls. It was passed down from year to year, a mysterious ritual that no one fully understood. The older students participated in it, but they never spoke of it to anyone outside their circle. Nneka couldn't help but wonder if it had anything to do with Ifeoma's disappearance. Ngozi explained that every year, a new student would be chosen to undergo the rite of passage, a test that every girl had to pass in order to gain the respect of the entire school. But the details of the test were vague, and no one could explain exactly what happened during it. The school's administration claimed it was a form of bonding, but it seemed more like a secret society than a harmless tradition. One afternoon, as Nneka was walking down the hall, she was approached by a teacher she had never seen before. The woman looked at Nneka with an intensity that made her uncomfortable. "You've been asking too many questions," the teacher said, her voice low and stern. "I suggest you stop before it's too late." Nneka froze, her heart pounding. She had never spoken to this teacher, and yet she knew about her curiosity. The school was watching her, and it was clear they didn't want her digging any deeper. This wasn't just a school with high academic standards. It was a place where things were kept hidden, and Nneka was dangerously close to uncovering the truth. One evening, Nneka overheard a conversation between two older girls that mentioned a dark room. It sounded like a place where the new girls were taken during the ritual. The thought sent chills down her spine. Could this be where Ifeoma had gone? Was this the reason no one could explain her disappearance? Determined to find out, Nneka asked Ngozi about it the next day. Ngozi looked terrified. "You don't want to go there," she whispered urgently. "The dark room is not a place for anyone. It's where everything changes." Nneka's curiosity grew stronger. What was so terrifying about this room? And what happened to the girls who entered it? Nneka's investigation led her to a student who had recently returned from a long absence. Her name was Chinyere, and she had been one of the girls chosen for the ritual the previous year. At first, Chinyere refused to speak, but after some coaxing, she finally revealed something that would change everything. "The dark room. It's not just a room," Chinyere said, her voice shaking. "It's where they test your loyalty, your strength. Not everyone makes it out the same." Nneka's mind raced. What did she mean? Was this some kind of twisted game? Or was there something darker at play? Late one night, Nneka couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She had made up her mind to investigate the dark room for herself. With Ngozi's warning echoing in her mind, she snuck through the hallways, trying to avoid the teachers and other students. As she approached the old building at the far end of the campus, a shadowy figure stepped out from the darkness. It was one of the older girls, and she had a knowing look in her eyes. "You've been snooping around, haven't you?" the girl asked, her voice almost a whisper. Nneka's heart skipped a beat. She had been caught. The older girl didn't seem angry, but her eyes were cold and calculating. "You should leave this place while you still can," she said, her tone sharp. "The school isn't what it seems." Before Nneka could respond, the girl turned and disappeared into the shadows. Nneka stood frozen, her mind spinning. What did she mean? What was really happening at this school? Nneka couldn't stop now. She was too deep in, and she had to know the truth. But as she ventured deeper into the mysteries of the school, she couldn't help but wonder, would she ever make it out the same? Nneka continued to gather clues about the school's hidden truths. One day, while exploring a forgotten hallway in the school's oldest building, she discovered something that shocked her. Behind a bookshelf, there was a hidden door, a passage that seemed to lead deeper underground. Her heart raced as she opened the door, stepping into the darkness. The air felt thick and heavy, as if the very walls held secrets. What was down there, and why was the school hiding it? As Nneka ventured further into the underground tunnels, she stumbled upon a room filled with strange symbols and eerie chants. In the center of the room, a group of older girls stood in a circle, their eyes closed as they swayed back and forth. Nneka watched in silence, her breath caught in her throat. She was witnessing the ritual, the one that had claimed Ifeoma and so many others. The air was thick with a sense of power, and Nneka could feel it. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. With her heart racing, Nneka realized she had to get out of there before she was discovered. She quickly retraced her steps, but the hallway seemed longer now, as if the school itself was trying to keep her trapped. She had to warn her parents, but she couldn't shake the feeling that leaving the school wasn't going to be that easy. The next morning, Nneka confronted the headmistress. She demanded to know the truth about the school and its secrets. To her surprise, the headmistress didn't deny anything. Instead, she calmly explained that the tradition had been passed down for generations. "The ritual isn't just about loyalty," the headmistress said. "It's about control. It shapes the girls who stay here into something greater than themselves." But it comes at a cost. Nneka's mind raced. Was this the real reason so many students had disappeared over the years? In a final meeting with Ngozi, Nneka learned the full truth. The ritual was not just about loyalty. It was about creating a powerful, almost untouchable sisterhood. But at what cost? The girls who didn't make it through the ritual were either broken or vanished entirely. I didn't want to scare you, Ngozi said, her eyes filled with regret. But you had to know. With everything she had learned, Nneka had to make a decision. Could she stay at the school, knowing the truth? Or was it time to leave and expose the secrets for the world to see? In the end, Nneka made the hardest choice of all. She left the school, and as she walked away, she could feel the weight of the secrets she was leaving behind. But she knew one thing for certain. Her parents had no idea what had really happened at that all-girls school, and she had to make sure they never sent another daughter there again. Thank you for watching. Kindly share your thoughts in the comment section. Remember to like, share, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more.